So the first chakra I'm going to assess is the root chakra. The next one is the sacral. Then we go to the solar plexus. And then the heart chakra we actually do from the front of the dog's body, right over the heart center. Then we come back and we do the throat chakra. Then we do the brow chakra and the crown chakra.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Kara, and I am here to share with you some of my favorite topic. I love animal chakras, and I'm just going kind of crazy learning about them and going deeper and deeper. And I just want to give you an orientation to animal chakras and what they are, and we'll go through the 7 chakras. So let's go ahead and dive right into that. So the premise, the first thing to really understand about animal chakras is that all beings are 5-dimensional beings, whether they're human or animal. We're all 5-dimensional beings, and so we exist on all these levels at the same time: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic. Are the energy centers in our body that govern all these aspects of our lives. So the energetic level of our being is the one that really ties together the other 4 aspects of our lives. And as we experience some kind of imbalance or balance in a chakra, it's going to show up on all these levels. So everything is really interconnected. And once you understand the basics of the 7 main chakras and how they work, then you begin to see the patterns that a physical issue isn't always just physical. There's usually some emotional component too, because everything is interconnected. Let's walk through the chakras a little bit, and I'll help explain that a little bit more. But really, the first thing to understand is that every part of our lives is totally related to every other part of our lives, and that goes for humans as well as animals. We all have physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic aspects to our lives. So a lot of people are familiar with human chakras, and this graphic illustrates the 7 main chakras in the human, and they correspond to these colors because the energy in these centers vibrates at a different rate, a different frequency at each one, and so the color of them shows up as a little bit different. So starting at the bottom, you move all the way up from red through the colors of the rainbow, from the root chakra at red to the crown chakra at violet. And each one of these chakras governs the physical aspect of your life, where the chakra is located. And then the other 3 aspects of your life are also categorized and grouped according to similar principles. So the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual all correspond to a specific energy center. The human chakras and the are roughly the same. So we have in the animal chakras 7 main chakras associated with the physical body. Both humans and animals have more chakras, but these are the main ones that we can really see in action if we know what to look for. So again, on this graphic, it goes from left to right, the colors of the rainbow, starting with the base or the root chakra as red, the sacral chakra is orange, the solar plexus chakra is yellow, the heart chakra is green, the throat chakra is blue, and the 6th chakra, or the third eye chakra, is deep indigo blue or purple, and then the crown chakra at the top of the head is violet. So let's go through all of these chakras one by one to kind of get a sense of how they all work together and how the chakras work in animals. And the graphics I'm using for this little video are all dogs, but the same principles apply to any animals, whether it's a guinea pig or a horse or a cat or a ferret. The principles are all the same. So the first chakra is located at the base of the spine, and it's actually at the perineum, which is the piece of flesh between the anus and the genitals. And its color is red. And the theme for this chakra, for chakra number 1, is safety and survival and stability. So if there's anything around any of those issues going on in your life or your animal's life, then you know that you have some kind of imbalance in the first chakra. The first chakra physically is located at the back part of the body. So physically, it governs the functioning of the hind legs, the hips, the tail, the base of the spine, and also the elimination functions of the body. So this is the chakra that is governing getting waste out of the body. The first chakra is also in charge of the functioning of the blood, the lymph, the skin, and the immune system. So again, if there's anything going on with any of these parts of the physical body, you can also look to the first chakra for understanding and insight into that. And physically, the first chakra is really about making sure that survival needs are being met. So getting enough food, getting enough water, having a safe shelter, and also feeling physically safe, being physically safe. So physical safety is a huge aspect of the first chakra. So those are the physical functions of the chakra. And next, let's talk about the mental aspect of the first chakra. So the mental or thinking part of the first chakra is belonging. I belong. I am safe. So having that belief system, having that awareness, having that thought process is part of the first chakra. Emotionally, the first chakra governs feeling safe and comfortable. So that feeling emotionally, of feeling emotionally safe, emotionally feeling like you're comfortable in your surroundings, in your location, in your physical environment. And the other emotions that can come up associated with the first chakra are fear and worry and doubt. So again, because we're looking at the theme of safety and security, the emotions of the first chakra are going to be about that. Do I feel safe? Is there anything that I need to be worried about? Anything that I need to take care of? So those are some of the emotions associated with the first chakra. Spiritually, the first chakra is about having that sense of belonging to a tribe. And also because it's associated with your physical survival and your life force, there's also spiritually a sense of vitality, of having the energy to be alive, of being safe and thriving, having that survival taken care of so that we can really thrive and live life fully. And for many animals, that sense of belonging to a tribe is a really important aspect of their physical safety and survival. And even in some species where you don't rely on other species members for your physical survival, there is still spiritually a sense of belonging to that tribe or that group or that lineage of that species. So spiritually, the functioning of chakra 1 can, really transcend just the physical survival, but also into the species survival and the sense of being part of something bigger. And finally, the 5th level of functioning for the first chakra is the energetic level. And energetically, when our first chakra is balanced, we feel grounded and calm. So it's really important to recognize that the functions on all 5 levels are interwoven, they are interdependent, they do all get connected by the energy of the chakra, and anything you do on one level can affect the other levels. So if you're noticing any kind of imbalance, you can really approach it from that five-dimensional approach of looking at what's the emotion that's going on, what's the physical situation, and all 5 of those levels are a great way to really holistically approach any kind of challenge. And the chakras kind of contain all of that information, and understanding the chakras is like a shorthand for understanding the bigger picture of what's ever going on with the animals in your life. So the second chakra is located at the sacrum, and the theme for this chakra is the emotions, relationships, and reproduction. And that'll make more sense as we go along, but that's kind of the big picture of what this chakra is about when you look at the functions from all 5 levels together. It's all about relationships and feelings and reproduction. So let's look more into this. The physical aspects or the physical functions of this chakra are the location where it is. So the lower back and everything around the sacrum and the lower back is governed by the second chakra physically. So this includes the reproductive organs, the kidneys, the bladder, and the lower part of the digestive system. Mentally, this chakra governs how an animal feels about life in general, whether they have a negative or positive outlook on life, and how comfortable they are with relationships, how they relate to other animals, to other people, to anybody else in their sphere, in their community. The second chakra is going to mentally be about their attitude or their thoughts about those relationships and how they fit in and how they relate to other people or animals. And emotionally, this chakra governs globally all of our emotions. So anything that has an emotional component, a strong emotion associated with it, can be connected to the second chakra. It's kind of our headquarters for our emotions. And more specifically, the emotions of relationship. So some of the emotions that are related to the second chakra are emotions of trust, feelings of self-worth, being betrayed, feeling betrayed, being connected to other individuals, and feeling affection or love for somebody else. And spiritually, the function for this chakra is to help us to create harmonious relationships that are built on trust and love and honoring one another. So when this chakra is balanced, that's how you know, that's what you see, that's what shows up. And that is an important part of any individual's spiritual part of their life, the spiritual functioning of their life, is to be in good relationships, to be in harmony, to be surrounded by individuals that love you, and that you respect them, they respect you. So the spiritual aspect of the second chakra is all about having those harmonious relationships. And the chakras are energy centers, so you could think of the chakras as energetically just being about those other functions. But when the second chakra is balanced, the way it shows up energetically is that there's a calm, comfortable energy about this animal, that they feel comfortable in different situations, that they feel calm, they know who they are and where they fit in and how they relate to others. They're not uncomfortable in new social situations or when they're left alone, and there's just a certain sense of calm and comfortableness with them when the second chakra is balanced. So let's look at the third chakra. The theme for this chakra is personal power, and this chakra is all about self-esteem and honor, and really having an ability to be effective in the world, to have your actions matter, to really know that you make a difference on the planet. Physically, this chakra is located right at the middle of the back at the abdomen. It's right at the solar plexus, so just below the ribs, around the area of the stomach. And the physical functions that this chakra governs are any functions in that area. So the back, the abdomen, the stomach, the liver, the adrenal glands, the pancreas, and the gallbladder. This chakra, therefore, really has an impact on our fight or flight response, our digestion, and all of the kind of functioning of how we integrate with the world, which is what we're doing when we're digesting food. And this chakra takes that theme to a whole other level. Rather than just digesting food, it's how are we integrating and interacting with the world? Are we in a give and take situation with the world? And on the mental level, this chakra is governing our beliefs about our own personal power, whether we're a human or a horse or a dog or a cat or a fish or an elephant. We all have certain mental habits, certain mental patterns or beliefs about if we're a victim of circumstances, if we have power to change things, if what we do matters. So the third chakra is really the part of our mental experience that is concerned with our power in the world and what we think about it, what our beliefs are about it. And when we look at the emotional side of the third chakra, it's an interesting juxtaposition, because this is where jealousy and aggression are very common emotions, but also this is the chakra of humor. And just think about when anybody laughs, whether it's a human or an animal, it's the muscles in this area, this physical part of the body, that are causing that laughter, that response. And so we need to have a sense of humor. And that's part of our healthy functioning of our third chakra, is to have a sense of humor. So when we're in jealousy and aggression and bullying and any kind of victimhood, we lose our sense of humor because we're out of balance in the third chakra. And so you can tell a third chakra is in balance if there's a really nice just sense of humor and lightness and understanding of the funnier side of life in an animal or a person. And the spiritual lesson of the third chakra is really about honoring oneself. So this is the chakra that's concerned with personal power, with what are our values, with what impact do we have on the world, and how can we honor ourselves? How can we be true to ourselves? This is integrity resides here in the spiritual sense. So in order to, when a third chakra is healthy, you'll see an animal who has a sense of self, who honors his or her needs, who stands up for herself, who stands up for others, and knows that their actions have impact. And then energetically, when this chakra is balanced, there's a balanced give and take. You'll see an animal who is willing to take action, but also to sit back and doesn't have to be in charge of everything or running every show or anything like that. But there's a balanced give and take energetically and in activity. So this chakra, when it's balanced, there's a flow. We know where we fit in the world. We know what we can do. We feel good about ourselves. And we're at peace with the world around us. So there's a give and take between us and our world. The fourth chakra is located physically right at the center of the heart, right in the center of the chest. And the theme for this chakra is unconditional love. Physically, the fourth chakra is in charge of the functioning of the heart, the lungs, breathing, circulation, so the blood and the oxygen and the lungs and the heart all working together. So circulation of the blood and all the components of the blood, as well as the circulation of the lymph and the thymus, which is a small, often overlooked gland that is important in immune function. And I think this is a really fascinating aspect of the fourth chakra because of the impact of our emotions, and particularly grieving, heartbreak, on our immune system. And so the connection with the thymus there really shows a physical way that our grief can affect our immunity. That will make more sense in just a minute. But right now, let's just look at the physical functions of that chakra. They're all right there in the chest, heart, lungs area. And then mentally, the fourth chakra is really governing our beliefs about our relationships, our beliefs about our sense of being alone or being connected, whether we have a positive or a negative outlook on relationships or on love. Those are our beliefs about how we interact and how our relationships are and how we are in the world in relationship to others. So the mental aspect is our belief system about these heartful relationships that we have. And emotionally, this is the center for empathy and compassion and hopefulness. Hopefulness resides here in the heart center as well. So this is really, again, we're looking at our connections with others, whatever species they may be. And when our heart gets broken, when we experience loss and grief, this is the chakra that helps us work through that and the one that helps us manage that. So when we have that kind of experience in life, or our animals, grieving is a function of the fourth chakra, the heart chakra. And when we look at the spiritual functioning of this chakra, this is where unconditional love resides. So spiritually, the spiritual lesson and the spiritual experience of the fourth chakra is unconditional love. And with that comes forgiveness. So we can really give our hearts, we can forgive, we can understand, be compassionate and empathetic. And that shows up in our ability to be unconditional loving with ourselves and with others. So the chakra is the energy center, and it can be over-energized, under-energized, or balanced in its energy and the movement of energy through it. And when it's balanced energetically, it shows up as relationships that have give and take, and an animal who is generous in love. And there's just that real nice balance of giving and receiving in relationships. So that is one indicator of how the fourth chakra can be energetically balanced and how that will show up. So this is just kind of an overview summary of the fourth chakra and the functions of the chakra. And so we're going to look at all 5 of those levels of well-being in animals and how the fifth chakra is really governing these specific areas of our lives. So to start with, the physical location of the fifth chakra is right at the base of the throat. And depending on what animal it is, that can cover a big area. But generally, we think of it right at the base of the throat, right around the larynx. And that is because the theme for this chakra is self-expression. And so as humans, most of what we're aware of as self-expression is our voice, the sounds that we make. And that is the same for animals. Animals also use sounds to communicate and express themselves. So when we look at the physical functioning that the fifth chakra governs for animals, it's associated with its physical location on the body. So the fifth chakra governs the health, the well-being, the functioning of the neck, the throat, the jaw, the mouth, the tongue, the larynx. All of that is part of the fifth chakra. And then on the mental level, the fifth chakra is also really governing and keeping track of the mental aspects of self-expression. So this is our ability to believe in ourselves, our ability to believe that we can communicate, and all of the thoughts that we have about who we are and how we are in the world, how we express ourselves, how well or not well we think we communicate. That is the fifth chakra. And I say we because I really think of animals and people as the same. So here we have a horse, but a horse can be insecure about self-expression or think it doesn't matter what I say or how I communicate, nothing's going to happen, I'm ineffective. All of those beliefs can be going on in our animals. And emotionally, the emotions that are associated with the fifth chakra are about self-expression, the feelings that we have about self-expression. So if an animal feels confident that they can express themselves, that's part of the emotional function of the fifth chakra. If an animal is afraid to express himself or herself, then that's also a fifth chakra emotion. And so all of these emotions are associated with this particular chakra. And spiritually, the lesson here, the spiritual lesson is really about being yourself and saying who you are and really coming into yourself, being fully yourself. And I love that we have a chicken here because I think of roosters and they're so vocal and they are so much themselves, right? Like they're so confident about who they are and what they're up to, and they feel so confident about their voice, expressing themselves and being themselves. And energetically, we need the energy of the fifth chakra to be balanced so that we can have a balance of being able to speak up when it's appropriate and being quiet when it's not appropriate. And we all have animals in our lives who maybe don't have that balance yet, right? This may be an imbalance that you notice, that you have a dog that's always howling or never saying anything, never using its voice, or a cat or a horse who makes noises all the time or never makes a noise. All of this comes from that energetic balance and that functioning on all 4 or 5 levels of that 5th chakra. So when energy is moving freely through this chakra, what you'll see in the animal is that they speak up when it's appropriate and they're quiet when it's appropriate. They're not always quiet or always loud, but they have control over that and they have balance. So the 6th chakra is located at the 3rd eye. So the center of the chakra is actually right in the middle of the head of whatever animal it is, and it's located directly behind the 3rd eye. So that place on the forehead that's just below the eyebrows, that's the location, and straight back from there is where the very center of that 6th chakra is. The theme for this chakra is self-awareness, which makes sense because we have so many of our senses located right here. So the eyes, the ears, all of that is right here. So this chakra is all about self-awareness. And physically, this chakra governs the functioning of the brain, the eyes, the ears, hearing, and vision. And mentally, the 6th chakra is really unique in that it governs all of our mental abilities and our intuitive abilities, no matter what species we are, because it is in charge of the function of the brain. And that's where thinking and intuition happen. And this is really, really cool because when this chakra is out of balance, you'll really notice it in these areas. So it's really about the ability to think, the ability to put things together, to make connections, to send and receive intuition. It's really one of my favorite chakras of all times. And emotionally, this chakra governs trusting yourself and trusting your senses. So if this chakra is out of balance, you'll see an animal who is insecure about who they are, not really trusting what they get, what they receive in the world, from the world through their senses, and emotionally maybe a little bit insecure, low self-esteem, that kind of thing. Spiritually, the 6th chakra really governs our vision, our clarity, and our ability to gain wisdom and to recognize truth. So it could be a spiritual vision, it could be clarity about our spiritual mission. It's just really like knowing that you are a divine being and you're here for a reason, right? So this spiritually, we're really looking at it in an animal's ability to gain wisdom through experience and to recognize truth and to have that spiritual understanding of who they are and how the world works. And energetically, when this chakra is balanced, you see a really lovely interplay between mental abilities and intuitive abilities. We need both. We need to have knowledge and understanding and be able to think about things. But we also, in order to survive, need to have our intuitive abilities. And when I say we, I mean everybody, humans and animals. So when this chakra is energetically balanced, that's the way that you will see it showing up in animals' lives. And if you think that this chakra is unbalanced, a super fun way to support it is just to start to really acknowledge that this is the seat of mental abilities and intuitive abilities, and you can play with sending and receiving intuitive messages with the animals in your life. And that will help to strengthen and reinforce and rebalance this chakra. And once this chakra is balanced, you'll see it show up in all the different ways that we've already talked about in this video. So let's look at the seventh chakra. It is located at the top of the head. So here we see it as violet. And the theme for this chakra is divinity. The seventh chakra is really our spiritual connection. And so it's the overall spiritual aspect of our lives. Even though each chakra has a spiritual theme, this is the one that really governs the functioning of an animal's knowingness of its divinity and its connection to the divine. So physically, the seventh chakra governs the function of the brain, the nervous system, and the pineal gland. And so the pineal gland is part of the brain and it's included in there. So why did I single it out? Well, there's really cool research that shows in humans that the pineal gland is actually the seat of spiritual experience. And it's just a little teeny gland right there in the center of the brain. But it's been very clearly shown that in humans, this is the part of the brain that's responsible for our actual experience of our own divinity or our spirituality. And animals also have this gland, and so of course it functions the same way in all different species. So I just think it's super cool that here the seventh chakra is part of the function of it is to help our brains function, and that includes having a spiritual experience of the world. Now, on the mental level, the seventh chakra is really about wisdom, and so it's an animal's ability to learn from experience and develop wisdom, which is really information plus experience. So if you did an equation, wisdom would equal information plus experience. So knowing about something is not enough to gain wisdom. You actually have to go through the experience to gain the wisdom. And the seventh chakra is really about integrating the information as well as the experience. And when we do that, we have wisdom. Emotionally, the seventh chakra is where we experience our sense of purpose. And of course, the inverse is true as well. If we don't feel we have a sense of purpose, we feel anxious and worried and afraid to relax. It's very hard to trust. So some of the emotions that are associated with chakra 7 are these trust, worry, anxiety, fear, but also inspiration, confidence, sense of purpose. So there's a whole range of emotions that are associated with this chakra. And spiritually, this is the chakra of spiritual purpose. So each one of us, every individual being on the planet, has a sense of spiritual purpose, has a reason for being here. And the seventh chakra is all about recognizing and expressing and fulfilling that spiritual purpose. So being of service in the world, being part of something bigger than yourself, those are kind of general spiritual purposes. And then we can also have individual spiritual purposes as well. We're here to learn our own lessons as well as to help others learn their lessons, to experience love, to grow, to expand. This is kind of what every being on the planet is here for, to learn our lessons and to share our gifts. And this chakra governs that as well as our individual purpose and effectiveness in the world. So energetically, when this chakra is balanced, it shows up as an animal who is balanced in the physical and the spiritual aspects of the world. They're inspired and connected to the divine and part of the bigger picture, but they're also very grounded in the physical world. So there's a sense of, divine purpose, but also being alive and being physical is really important. When this chakra is out of balance, there can be a sense that the physical doesn't really matter. I'm not really connected, and it can show up as spaciness, disconnect, and even depression. So having this sense of purpose and knowing that you're fulfilling it is important to humans as well as animals. And we are divine beings living in a physical world, and so we need to balance both aspects of our lives, the physical and the spiritual. And that's what the seventh chakra does. And when energetically that balance exists, it will also show up in every other aspect of our lives. If you suspect that an animal that you love is imbalanced in the seventh chakra area, one super cool way to support the rebalancing of that chakra is to explore and acknowledge the higher purpose of that animal in your life, as well as the higher purpose of you being in that animal's life. So it really goes both ways. We really need to understand and acknowledge the ways that we are supporting each other through living with each other, through giving our love, through taking physical care of each other, through just communing and being friends together, being loved ones. There's a higher purpose. And so we often have contracts with our animals and other significant people in our lives, and really starting to look at what those might be and how we're fulfilling them, and what spiritual lessons we're learning from having this animal in our life. What bigger purpose are we serving by taking care of this animal and sharing our lives with this animal? All of those things are going to strengthen and balance the seventh chakra for you and for the animal that you love. So I think just having the understanding of that this is an important aspect of our lives and our animals' lives helps us to start looking at ourselves and our animals in a different way. And the more you explore that and understand that, the more that gets played out on the energetic level, and it really allows that chakra to come into balance for you and for the animals that you love. The issues around the chakras and a little bit of information about how they work, what they govern. Basically, the chakras are governing the part of the body where you find them, and kind of related issues on the mental, emotional, and spiritual levels. So that can be kind of a gauge or a guide for what's going on. If an animal in your life has a digestive issue, then you might want to look at all the aspects of chakra 3, for example. But you might, if there's an elimination problem, then it's maybe more of a root chakra kind of an issue and a survival thing. A lot of rescue animals have issues around that. So understanding the chakras, the physical conditions that you notice can lead you to a broader understanding of the holistic aspect of all of the animal's well-being. And you can dive really deep into this stuff, and really, because the chakras and the energy centers weave together all the different aspects of an animal's life, you can address every aspect of the animal's life through the energy center there. And so bringing in ways to balance that energy center allows that chakra to function optimally, and then the physical symptoms oftentimes get resolved as well. I don't recommend that anybody just go and only do chakra energy work, but I always take a 5-part approach to any issue for myself or the animals in my family, where I look at what's the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic component, because they're all intertwined. And if it's showing up physically, then there's going to also be something going on mentally and emotionally. And if there's an emotional issue, then you might also notice that there's something physical going on as well. Or if there's an emotional issue, sometimes a physical remedy like exercise or activity or rest or something like that can have an effect on all those different aspects of that part of that animal's life. So I really think that understanding the chakras gives us a better view, a deeper understanding, a richer understanding of what it's like to be an animal and what aspects of their lives may be affected and how to address and approach any kind of issue from understanding all 5 levels of their being so that they can have wellness on every level and fulfill the mission that they're here to fulfill, whatever it is.